What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are going to be doing another tier list video. We haven't done it in a month, I believe. This time though, we're not going to be doing it on Premier League players. I might come back with some tier lists on football players in general, but I know the season has ended for a few weeks now, but we are going to rank Real Madrid players for the 2022-2023 season. So let's run the category, shall we? So at the very top we have the number one player of the season. Now I'm not so sure if I'm gonna choose one player or I can choose more than one players to be in that category. But basically what that means is the best player slash best players of the season. Afterwards is week in, week out. It should be week in, week out, doesn't it? But basically what that means is even though they haven't been the best player, they have been, constantly being consistent. So that's that. We got good, has been kind of average, not bad, but nothing crazy. We got poor, but I've also given injuries in there, and horrible. So let's see what we have. So I haven't done this because I've been looking for a tier list with all Real Madrid players for last season. So thanks to whoever the person who created this tier list was. I have no idea who it is. But I hope that he hasn't left out anyone. I can see mostly the players that have been playing. Now it's obviously not going to count players like Alvaro Rodriguez, who came in, played a couple of games, but he's still a youngster. You can't really judge him based on that. So let's start. We've also got Ancelotti in the rankings. Do we rank Ancelotti? We'll cross the bridge when we get to it. So let's start things off in goal. Thibaut Courtois. For me personally, straight off the back, player of the season. Oops, you guys can see it. For me, straight up, player of the season. I mean, he was an absolutely vital player to Real Madrid. He was saving us. Even that Manchester City game where Real Madrid lost 4-0, we could have lost 6, 7, 8-0 if it wasn't for Courtois with the saves that he was making. So, look, credit where credit's due. He has been one of, if not our most important player of the season. So, straight off the back, Thibaut Courtois, player of the season. Moving on, Andre Lunin. I wouldn't say he's been poor because he hasn't really played much, but I would put him in this category, not because he's been poor, but because he hasn't really been given minutes, I would say. So maybe I should have put not given minutes, but basically this is poor slash injuries slash lack of game time, basically. Lunin, I would put him there because I don't think he's played much to really be judged, and I don't think he has been there. For the first part of the season where he played the games against Barcelona and Elche, he looked really, really good, but it's kind of declined in the last couple of months. Let's move on into the outfield players. Dani Carvajal, I would say that he hasn't been bad, but he's not a long-term solution. You have to bring in another right back. For me, good, but he's not been performing here like he was. These categories he was 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's now 31, and he's gonna be 32 in January of 2024. So you have to be looking at another right back option for the long-term future. But Carvalho hasn't been bad. You can improve for sure. Same goes with Lucas Vazquez for me. He hasn't been bad, but at 32 years old, his birthday just went a couple of days ago. By the time next summer comes, he's 33. You have to be considering removing and changing the right back. And Vazquez has done a very, very good job. Under Zidane, he was a right winger, and then that period, I believe it was the 2021 or 1920 season, where he was converted to a right back from a right winger, and he's done a good job. but he isn't an out and out right back. So you still have to go out there and get yourself a right back, like I've been saying. He hasn't been bad, he hasn't been poor. Maybe you could say he has had a kind of lack of minutes, but he has come on and he has done quite well. But he's been good. Odriozola, for me, you could say he's here, but I think he has been horrible. I mean, dreadful. Look, 36 minutes he's been given, so I feel like I just gotta put him there. But even if he had played, I don't think he would have offered Real Madrid anything different. And I don't think he's a Real Madrid quality player. I don't think he's good enough. I genuinely don't. So Odriozola, please leave. Real Sociedad apparently won him. Goodbye. Next up, Jesus Vallejo. You could make the same case with Odriozola, but again, I think if I put Odriozola in horrible, I kind of have to put Vallejo in the same bracket. Again, like Odriozola, hasn't really played much, but I don't think he will ever play much, and I don't think he will ever play much because I don't think it's good enough. So again, these two are kind of on the same boat right now. Vallejo, however, wants to stay. Yeah. Nacho. Ooh, this is interesting here, Nacho. I'm gonna say week in, week out. I think that every time he's played, he has given a solid performance. I think it's been more than good. I really think that he has been a player that has really given a lot when he has played. And he barely plays. So, look, he's a fantastic player. He'll be staying for one more season, which is great. So, yeah, great. Eder Militao, has he been one of the player of the seasons? I think he's been higher than Nacho, but I do not think he's been the player of the season along with Courtois. Look, he's been incredible, he's been crucial, he's part of the future, but we've also seen the side of him that could make mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes, but I think a lot of times he's made mistakes that are preventable and are unnecessary, and of course there's room to improve. So for me, Militao has done it a lot of times, but I still think he's not the player of the season. Rudiger, I'm gonna say, to be fair, I would put him here because he really has been given lack of minutes. But I'm actually gonna say good. Like, I don't think he has been bad. It's not as if he's not in here because he's been bad, but he really hasn't been given enough game time. He played against Man City in the first leg where it was 1-1 because Militao was suspended. Incredible. And then when Militao came back, he got dropped. Like, I don't understand this. Like, he did not deserve to get dropped. And I feel for him. But Rudiger, I really don't think he's here because I don't think he's been played enough. And that's unfair on the player to put him here. But really, I think it's the game time. So, look, fantastic player, good player, the leadership that he offers, but he needs to play more. And the same with Alaba. I think injuries has really not helped him. Really. He isn't poor, he's just injured. Same with Lunin, lack of game time. You know, he's been injured. So, you know, I feel for Alaba because, look, I think Alaba and Militao are preferred than Rudiger, but a lot of times he was really injured, to be honest. Mendy, what can we say? Injuries again. Injured again. You know, he's such an injury prone player that I think is part of the reason why Real Madrid want to sell him. Like, if you can sell Mendy and reinvest on another left back, why wouldn't you? You know, he's still a good player, and I think his transfer market value is going to be the highest it's ever going to be because it's not going to get any higher after he turns older and older. So Mendy hasn't been poor, but just hasn't played. Other than Tchouaméni, first season at the club, good. Hasn't played much. He's still trying to get in slowly, but you can't write him off. You know, the links to Liverpool and Newcastle United were jokes. Tchouaméni is still an incredibly good and talented player. You just have to give him time. Camavinga, week in, week out, when he was playing, he gave his all. He played really, really well, especially at left back. You know, he isn't a left back, but he played left back like he knew that position, he knew that role. Like, you barely see that. For me, Eduardo Camavinga is there. Fede Valverde. I mean, for the first 6 months of the season, I would put him here, really. But I would say he's been good overall, but he hasn't performed at the same level as he did up until the World Cup. Because after the World Cup, he came back and he was still vital, he was still good, but he wasn't where he was before. So, for me, that's the reason why I put him in good. Again, like Rudiger, like Tchouaméni, like Carvajal, like Vasquez, he isn't bad. He isn't a bad player. He's great. He's one for the future. But because of the post-World Cup, I think that led him to being there. Dani Ceballos, you know, he did really, really well. And I would say he was good. Again, whenever he got the chance to play, whenever he was given the opportunity to play by Ancelotti, whether there was an injury or lack of man, he came on in a Villarreal game and then he scored the winner. He did really, really well. He's a good squad player. He's a good player, but he's not going to ever be more than that. So that's why when he signed the new contract, especially until 2027, I was, confused as to why he did that. Toni Kroos, at his age, good. He was very, very good. He's still a vital player. I don't think last season he performed weekly every game, but he was incredible. Toni Kroos will go down as a Real Madrid legend, and it's incredible that he stays for one more year. It's really, really incredible. And then we move on to his midfield counterpart, Luka Modric. I'm actually gonna say he actually did really, really well, week in, week out. I really think he did more than Kroos, and part of the reason why was Kroos didn't get involved as much, but Modric is still getting involved, especially at the age he is 37. Incredible. So again, like Kroos, staying for one more season. Both of them legends, and both of them have been incredible, but I would just put Modric slightly ahead of Toni Kroos. And then for the Marco Asensio, you know what, right? He was actually good. He was actually really, really good. Again, really hasn't played much overall throughout the entire season. But, I mean, what can we say? He's gone now. He's going to PSG. He's a new PSG player. And I wish him all the best. But last season, it was an alright season because his numbers were actually the best he's ever gotten. Because he's played quite a lot, to be honest. But I don't think he was up here. Rodrigo, whenever he got the chances, he performed. He performed to perfection. Perfection, Rodrigo. And he should be the main right winger. I mean, now that Arda Güler has signed, it provides somewhat of a competition to him, but I think he'll be the main right winger next season. That's for sure. Our last four players, Eden Hazard, I want to put him here. But I think a lot of the times, he has showed that he can be a good player. Like Celtic, right? Scored that goal. But I can't deny the fact that he has been horrible. Like, that was like the only time I remember Eden Hazard ever getting involved. Like the Celtic game where we won 3-0 away. And, it's sad because you see a player like Eden Hazard with the qualities that he has just turn out the way it is. It's sad, really. Whatever he does next, whether it's retire or who knows, go to Inter Miami or Saudi or maybe go into management or something, I wish him the best because at his best, he was unstoppable and he was incredible to watch. But his Real Madrid career hasn't worked out the way that many expected him to. Um, and then we've got Vinicius Jr., player of the season with Courtois for me. Vital, the goals were particularly coming from Vinicius, and that is because Benzema wasn't getting any as involved as he was last season, the season before that means, and Vini Jr. had to step up his game to the next level for the season, and I think he did. He was very consistent. He did really, really well. He scored a lot of goals, and he is a great player. Mariano Diaz, honestly, do we have to say more? And for me, Benzema, I'm very tempted to put him here, but do I put him here? Week in, week out. Has Benzema been one of the player of the seasons? Yes. Benzema was one of the 3 player of the seasons along with Vini Jr. and Courtois for me. Even though he was injured a lot and, probably one of the worst seasons in terms of his goal scoring records since Ronaldo left, he's still done really, really well. The back-to-back hat-tricks against Barcelona and Real Valladolid, the goals he's still scoring was incredible. And it's such a big, big mistake for him to leave. And not for him, I mean for Real Madrid to let him go. That is gonna haunt and hurt Real Madrid badly. And then Ancelotti, you know what, right? Ancelotti, if I'm ranking him from, made a lot of good decisions to alright decisions to okay to bad to horrible, I will actually rank Ancelotti in the back end of okay decisions. I would say he wasn't average, but he wasn't bad, but he wasn't very, very, very good. Like, Ancelotti made mistakes, of course, but I think for what he has done, incredible. And hopefully next season we will start off fresh again. But that will be it for today's video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the tier list. What changes would you make, and do you agree or disagree with any? Let me know. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel if it's on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.